प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So Hare Krishna. So we'll be having 3 lectures. First about the first initiation, and then followed by 10 offenses, and then also on second initiation there will be one more lecture. So we request devotees to kindly listen. So Tamil translation will happen behind. So those who cannot follow English யாருக்கு புரியாதோ தமிழ் மொழிபெயர்ப்பு பின்னால் நடக்கிறது. மாறம் அந்த பிரபம் பண்ணுவார். 2 பேர் கூட வேணும்னா மாதாஜிஸ்க்கு யாரும் இல்லைன்னா ஒருத்தர் மாதாஜி சைடில் வேணா உட்காந்துக்கிட்டோம். விஜயமஜிட்ட பேசு. சேர் ஒன்று போட்டுரு வேணாம். அவங்களுக்கு பிரபு உட்காந்து பண்ணிட்டோம். சேர் பின்னால் இருக்கு பாரு, சேர் வெளில இருக்கு சேர். So we understand human life is very rare. After evolving through millions of species, at last we get the opportunity to take birth in the human life. And after getting human life, to get the mercy of Guru and Krishna is very rare. So we are so fortunate that today we have come to a stage where we are going to get initiated into the great Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, going up till the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these days we were designating ourselves with this body, and we were thinking this material father, material mother. I am Srinivas, my father name is so and so, my mother name is so and so, I am from Tamil Nadu, I am from Chennai, I belong to Chennai Super King or whatever, So many designations. I am fan of Rajinikanth and this, I am that, and so identifying with so many material designations, and life after life we were suffering. And now at last, realizing the real nature of the soul, we are taking a step to surrender to Krishna. And this initiation, Diksha, this word English you can see, initiation, initial means what? First, starting. Sometimes there's a misconception that initiation is the goal, and after that you relax. The goal is to get initiated, get some position, there is also some Siksha ceremonies in some ISKCON they follow. Okay, 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 16 rounds, and then first initiation, second initiation, sannyas, and relax. So actually initiation means beginning. Please put your cell phones in silent mode. Initiation means beginning. Maharaj in the lecture he was mentioning about what was that when Ram built the bridge, it was the beginning of the end. He said beginning of the end or end of the beginning. We have to see. Initiation is beginning of the end or end of the beginning. So it's not end of the beginning, it's the beginning. So of the end. What end? The samsara chakra. So this is the beginning. So it's not that after initiation you can relax, but actually the real thing initiation means, what our acharyas imply is not just this ceremony, but the real initiation means following the rules and regulations. And among all the rules and regulations, the Srila Prabhupada gave us what are the prime important rule is chanting of minimum 16 rounds and following the 4 regulative principles. So 16 plus 4 he said is equals to BTG, back to Godhead. So these are the prime principles, primary principles, and then there are other principles which we have to follow. So therefore, we should not have this misconception that thinking initiation means that's over now, but rather that is the beginning. So otherwise, outside we can see so many even authorized sampradayas. Uh, we used to hear one of the branches of Gaudiya Sampradaya during Diksha. They had got some candidates. There is no follow up done, nothing done. Nobody knows what they are following, and only one rule they told uh, for initiation. What was that? On initiation day, you have to fast for half day. This was the rule, only rule, which was communicated to the candidates. So we can see so many people, whether it is authorized or how it is authorized in this case, if they don't follow, are they authorized? So ultimately, so many people, even bogus gurus, we can see they advertise free diksha, you know, buy one, get one free, all these kind of things. You bring two more people, you also get diksha freely, all these sort of nonsense propagandas. Just fast for half day, you get diksha. So all these cheating gurus are there in this Kali Yuga, and we are so fortunate that we have got such a great master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada, and his sincere disciples are here now to initiate us into this parampara. So immediately we are sheltered, such a protection from all these cheating gurus. We have got such an amazing opportunity. We don't know what piety we did, but it's Prabhupada's mercy, it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Krishna's mercy that we have today got this opportunity to take shelter of the authorized spiritual master who connecting us immediately with the parampara. So just like in Ambani family, somebody got recently married, right? So a child takes birth, and immediately he is owner of billions of crores of money and properties and whatnot. Immediately, also example is given during a marriage. Husband, the bridegroom, the husband, wife is there. Once the connection happens, just one marriage, one ceremony, boy side will be connected to everybody in the girl side, and girl side will be connected to everybody in the boy side. Remember, till that moment of marriage, they have no connection. The boy's side, boy has brothers, parents, and so many cousins, sisters, uncles, aunties. This girl has no connection with any of them, but just after marriage, immediately everybody is connected. Double. I don't know how you call it. So double bondage. But here, immediately we are connected after the ceremony, or when we take the sankalpa, when we take the promise that I'll follow all the regulative principles, I'll surrender to spiritual master, I'll chant 16 rounds. So when we take the sankalpa, when Guru initiates, immediately we are connected to all the parampara, to all the great acharyas. So our grandfather who is our grandfather? Founder of big MNC company. We can relish, we can enjoy all the treasures, all the properties, all the money. That is the case. So immediately we are connected to what is our treasure? This knowledge, this bhakti, these facilities, what is given to become pure devotee. So immediately we are connected to all great acharyas. What is our background? We should understand. We have fallen soul suffering in this material world, conditioned with so many anarthas. But suddenly the spiritual master gave us connection with all pure devotees. So it's such an fortunate moment. So, but if we think it is all over just after the ceremony, that is, very unfortunate. So please don't have this misconception. And if at all we have to, strictly follow these regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, all these things, what are the other most important instructions Srila Prabhupada gave is read his books every day. Guru Maharaj, always emphasizing us to read our Srila Prabhupada books on daily basis. 2 hours, if not at least 1 hour, hear every day Srila Prabhupada lecture and Guru Maharaj lecture. So these are the very important principles. If we want to stick in the process of bhakti and fulfill the promise which we are going to do in front of Gauranitai, in front of senior Vaishnavas, in front of spiritual master, in front of all the demigods, the promise which we are going to make here, if we want to keep intact, Prabhupada said, if somebody breaks this promise, he is not even a gentleman, what to speak of a devotee. So if we want to keep intact this promise, we have to follow the other important rules, which is reading Srila Prabhupada books every day without fail and hearing his lectures. That means, we download unlimited apps in our mobile, and to all the apps which we download, immediately they ask, any app you download, first question they ask, what they ask? Allow me to use the context, allow me use to share this, allow this, and we don't even read what is asked. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his hands, we just surrender to the apps, the Google store, the Play Store, whatever it asks, I'll give you. Waste our time in all these social medias, spoiling our spiritual goals, aspirations. So many devotees, senior, junior, initiated, second initiated, big kantimalas, big shika, whatever, the losing life due to all this mobile internet and all these things. So we have to be careful to use as much as required for the service of Krishna, and rest of the time, spend time in Shravanam and Kirtanam. Not interested in all this political news, all this garbage. We should not show interest in all these things. Whatever is required for service, yes, that much we should be aware of. So Guru Maharaj, for initiation standards, he kept 2 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam as minimum. So do anyone know why he kept 2 cantos? So what is the idea? Why he said minimum 2 cantos we have to read? So idea is, somehow, for initiation we try to finish, another 50 pages, chalo, quickly, whether read shlokas or not, if we are sincere, at least try to finish the translations, purports. So idea is, Guru Maharaj said in a lecture that if they have come till 2nd canto, so that means enough message of Prabhupada's instructions, Prabhupada's nectar would have gone inside, and this should motivate them to continue and keep reading and finish Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita 1 time, 2nd time, 3rd time. So that is the idea, that is the motive. Somehow, at least by force, if we start relishing this nectar, then gradually, we will develop the taste and finish all Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all, such a treasure is there. Srila Prabhupada gave us. So if we think that, after 2.5 hours I can go to sleep, I don't have to follow, now I'm automatically connected, by default I'll go back home, back to Godhead. So if we have such a conception, then it is, sorry to say, that will not help us. So therefore, so humbly requesting all the candidates, please also hear various lectures of Guru Maharaj, especially during initiation ceremonies, during Vyas Pujas especially. You can see full dose of Krishna consciousness will be there in those lectures. So I would humbly request you, even after the ceremony, go through all those lectures which Guru Maharaj gave during initiation ceremonies, and especially during Vyas Puja initiation ceremonies like that. So you can expect full dose of Krishna consciousness, fast charging, quick charging, something like that. So please go through them point by point, lecture by lecture, with full attention, listen them, take the notes and try to implement them, and then you can see there is change in our life. So hearing also, nowadays in social media, so many devotees are giving lectures. Some are very good orators in native languages. English, oh, I cannot understand, but I need some time. Yes, we all like to hear, but then we have to see if the devotee is connected to the parampara, not simply wearing some, tilak and kantimala, he becomes bona fide devotee. There's so many who have this but not connected to the parampara, not understanding Srila Prabhupada's message, but then they are very good speakers, have a lot of followers. So here when we mean hearing every day, it means Prabhupada's lectures primarily, and then our Guru Maharaj lectures, and then others. Guru Maharaj gave the formula that 10 Srila Prabhupada lecture you hear, you can hear one Guru Maharaj lecture. And then you hear 10 Guru Maharaj lectures, then you can hear one lecture of other devotee who is authorized also again. That means what? You hear 100 Guru Prabhupada lecture, then only you can hear one of other devotees lecture. You understand? Good in mathematics. So are we doing this? Yes, mercifully we have got Tamil translation of Prabhupada's lectures now. So how many of us are having that and hearing regularly? Prabhupada being an acharya, he knows what message has to be given. He didn't speak to flatter the audience. He didn't speak to increase the followers, increase the likes. He just spoke so that the jiva will get connected with Krishna. The jiva will break all the bondage, material bondages. That is the definition of an acharya. So who cuts our attachments, our anarthas. There's so many people who are very good telling stories and tears come in our eyes. And we start crying and we think this is Ashta Sattvika Bhava, I am in higher levels of devotion. And after wiping the tears, we watch IPL match, cinema songs. So what kind of influence we have got by these speakers? So that means neither the speaker nor the hearer were sincere. Of course, there may be scenarios where the speaker can be sincere and still the listener can be in Maya. But I'm just telling that Srila Prabhupada just gave the message what is required for us. Repeating the basic message, and he gave everything also, but in general, you can see again and again he repeated the foundation. He wants to make the foundation strong so that we can reach the highest destination, which is Krishna Prem, we call it. So that is possible only when we have the strong foundation. We are not this body, we are soul, we are servant of Krishna. Rascal, don't enjoy like pigs and dogs. Don't waste your human form of life. All these strong words. People say Guru Maharaj is very strict. Other Maharaj is very lenient. But Bhakti Vikas Maharaj means very strict. But actually, Guru Maharaj is not very strict, but Guru Maharaj is following what Srila Prabhupada has given, that's all. So maybe what these people understand by strictness, what is their definition of strictness, we don't know. But the definition means, strictness means he's not strict, he's simply following what Srila Prabhupada has given. So therefore, we should be feeling grateful and fortunate that Krishna and Guru's mercy, we have come to this stage. But after coming to this stage, please don't go back. So strictly follow the principles, read everyday Prabhupada books, hear his lectures, and follow the 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds, and don't waste this human form of life and this great opportunity given to us. So take it seriously more, be more enthusiastic, and follow the principles strictly, and in that way advance in Krishna consciousness steadily. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. So now there will be second lecture on 10 offenses. So request everybody to continue listening. Hare Krishna.
It's a very auspicious day, Ram Navami day. You're going to start your devotional service. So, you all know that in devotional service, chanting holy name is the most important thing. One of the process, um, particularly for this Kali Yuga, is a Yuga Dharma is recommended in the Vedic literatures. So the holy name is not different from Krishna and is all powerful. That doesn't mean that we chant holy name whatever way we want, or we just take it for granted, uh, and then we do commit all kinds of offenses, and still we go on chanting holy name. We will get purified. It's not like that. There are 10 offenses in Padma Purana is given to avoid while chanting the holy name. So we'll go through these 10 offenses quickly. Okay. So first offense is Satam Ninda Namna Paramam Aparatam Mitanate Etakyatim Yatam Katam Musagate Tadvigraham. That means committing offense against the devotees, those who are dedicated their life to spread the holy name, to blaspheme them is offense. Is one of the very important thing to avoid offense, blaspheming the devotees, because by the mercy of devotees only we come to devotional service. Without devotees' mercy, we can't even imagine, to understand Krishna or anything related to Krishna. There is no way. With devotees' mercy only we can understand anything about in devotional service. That's the system is established by Lord Krishna himself. So we should not blaspheme the devotees unnecessarily. Even there is no necessary offense also there. So we should completely avoid the Vaishnava aparatha. Is very often devotees talk about it. We hear about it, but still we have a tendency, because we come from all kind of different material conception to the devotional service. We carry still, we become envy to others, simply to put down, to show that ourselves is, better than others. We start blame them, blaspheme them. So in that way we commit offense. So we should not be envious of devotees. We should be careful. Whatever we talk about devotees, especially the some senior devotees, our spiritual master, we have to be very careful how we deal with them, how we respect them. So this offense is considered like a mad elephant, Hati Mata, that when elephant becomes mad, the garden you may have, taken care very nicely, pour water and remove all the weeds, and nicely the garden may be taken care of it. But when mad elephant enters into the garden, everything is destroyed. So it's complete destruction. Vaishnava Aparadha will destroy all our spiritual advancement. So Vaishnava acharyas, they say that Haristhane aparade thare hare nam, Dhamasthane aparade nahi paritran. If you commit offense against the Lord, if you commit offense to Supreme Lord Krishna, there is a way to come out by chanting holy name. You can get free from that offense by chanting holy name. But if you commit offense to Vaishnava, and there is no way to come out, even Lord is ready to give you up for that. If you commit offense to devotee, you may remember the Ambarish Maharaj Leela from Bhagavatam, because he committed offense to Durvasa Muni, committed offense to Ambarish Maharaj, and he went through all over the universe. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, nobody could help him. Ultimately, by Lord Shiva's advice, he went to the Supreme Lord, Vishnu himself. Even Lord is not ready to give protection for him. And he say, you have to go back to Vaishnava, Ambarish Maharaj. So this is the position of Vaishnava, is the very greatest position. The Lord says that the devotees, particularly these pure devotees, are always there in the heart of Lord. So we have to be very careful dealing with devotees, no offenses. Second offense is Shivasya Shivishnore Gunanamadi Shakalam Diha Bhinnam Pache Shakalo Harinama Gitakaraka. Means chanting names of demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, or names of Vishnu or Krishna is considering is same or independent to the demigod's name is independent to the names of Lord Vishnu is offense. So in the Shastra, particularly in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, many shlokas are established that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, Manmana Bhava Bhakto, Matta Paradaram Jnanat, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. There are many verses establish that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, definitely, we should be very careful. We should have a very clear understanding that who is the Supreme Lord and who are the demigods. We should not consider everyone is same. All gods are same. In India, we know that these so-called Hindu people, everyone believes that all gods are same. But according to Shastra, we see that one who thinks like that, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudrahati Daivatai Samatvena Viksheta Pashanti Bhavetrubam. The Padma Purana says that Pashanti, this word is used. Pashanti means is atheist. One who thinks Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma is equal to Lord Vishnu, and he is atheist. He is Pashanti. So, there is no literature this is described, as people think that all gods are same. It's very clearly states. So, in Bhagavad Gita also we see that Lord says that Name Vitu Suragana Prabhavam Namagashaya Aham Adirhi Devanam Maharshinam Sarvashaha. Aham Adirhi Devanam. He says that he is the Adi, he is the original person before all the demigods. And we see that in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, Shloka purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes many references from different Shastra, from Upanishads, different Puranas, how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and all other demigods is subordinate to him or created by him. So, it's very clear that Krishna and other demigods are not the same. So if we think that becomes offense in that way, so therefore we should not think that chanting Hare Krishna or Krishna's name and chanting Durga Durga or Shiva Shiva or any other demigod's name are all same. That's not the same. It's completely is a wrong understanding that thinking like that. So Krishna's name is is a supreme because it's not different from Krishna. So third offense is Kuroravagya. This is considering the spiritual master as an ordinary person or disobeying his order. And this is third offense. By committing this offense, you also commit same time the first offense which we discussed before, Vaishnava Aparadha. So it becomes a double, considering his spiritual master as ordinary person or not obeying his order. So spiritual master gives to his disciples some specific service, specific order. Generally in ISKCON we get during initiation to chant 16 rounds minimum Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day and then follow the four regulative principles and these things is common for all the disciples. His spiritual master, they give general instruction. So we should not neglect to follow these instructions or looking spiritual master as a ordinary person. Sometimes some conception is there in India. People, oh, he is foreigner, foreign guru. He has a white skin, so he's like that. Considering in the material platform, guru is like this, guru is like that. Looking external point of view. So this all becomes offense. So particularly for our spiritual advancement is Guru is a person who really helps us to every step, every moment to progress in our devotional service. So if we consider him as an ordinary person or disobey his order or displace him, then it's very troublesome for our spiritual advancement. And then fourth offense is Shruti Shastra Nindanam. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or persons of the Vedic literatures. Like Srimad Bhagavatam, you can find many descriptions which are hard to believe for the conditioned souls. Like Lord Krishna married 16,108 wives and each wife had a separate palace, all the palace, the description, the servants, all the description. If you see how it's possible in one city, so many, palaces, so many, and one person marrying so many women, and then there is a description how Krishna every day gives charity, like thousands of cows and to so many brahmanas and so many description like that. So we may think, oh, how is possible? It's not. Because in conditioned life, we are in material world, we are, very tiny living entity. If we cannot, then no one can. And that's our idea. But Krishna is not like ordinary person. So he can do anything. So whatever his Shastra says, that's a fact. So we have to accept it. We should not think that Shastra is, speaking some imaginary things or sometimes some things may appear like something contradicting thing. Like in the Shastra, we see that if we touch the stool, when we pass stool, we become contaminated, then we have to take bath to purify ourselves. But same time, same Shastra says that if you touch the stool of animal, like a cow dung, is pure. You can even use for purifying things, contaminated things, can purified by cow dung. Uh, even it is used in the, deity worship, for abhishekam and different things. Similarly, the conch shell, if you touch the bone of any, human or any animal, is considered contaminated. But the conch shell is also a bone of an animal. So if you touch, we may think it's contaminated, but is allowed. Shastra says that you can use the conch shell for deity worship and different purpose. So this is not contradicting thing. So we have to accept. So if we don't accept, if we think that the Shastra is contradicting, then it becomes offense. Then it's tatartavadaha, giving some mundane interpretation to the holy name. Means sometimes people, to inspire new people, sometimes devotees, they tell them, okay, chant holy name, your disease will get cured, your debt will be clear, you will get job, you will get this, you will get that, some material benefit. Or sometimes you see that there's somebody told me that because it is in the holy name, so many the sound of the Hare, Krishna, Rama, everywhere is this ra sound is there. Because of that sound, repeatedly when you chant, some all nerve system becomes in particular way is influence your body, so you get get free from all disease and something like that. Some mental speculation, so many different ways people speculate. So in this kind of explanation to the holy name, these are mundane explanation. So this becomes offense. So we should hear from the Shastra, the power of holy name, whatever it is. Shastra says we just accept. And then next, sixth offense is Harinamni Kalpanam. Considering the glories of holy name is imaginary or exaggeration. So in the Shastra we see only once someone chants holy name, he can get free from all the material bondage. These kind of statements we see in the Vedic literatures. And we see, practically so many people are chanting so many years and they can give up some basic, sense gratification desires or, some material desires. So one may think how is possible? But it is possible. Shastra is, whatever says is a fact. Is a holy name has such a power, but one should chant purely. But because of we are not pure, we are not advanced, so we are not able to realize that. Then the seventh offense is Namno balade sigi papa buddhi navityate tasya yamer hi siddhi. One should not think that holy name is very powerful. By chanting holy name, I can get free from all sinful reactions. So That means I can go on committing sins again and again, and then I'll get purified. Uh, that becomes offensive. Uh, so, because it's like you are trying to light the, fire, then you are pouring water also same time. Uh, or this elephant taking bath goes in very nicely, bathing for hours together in the water, and then comes out on the bank of the river or a pond, and then immediately throw again all the dust on the body. It becomes like that. Or Srila Prabhupada very often gives the example of Christianity. Uh, Almost every time when Prabhupada mentions these offenses, he mentions the Christianity, how they practice that throughout the week they eat chicken, mutton, and all kinds of meat, and then on the end of the week, in the Sunday, they come to the church and they ask for forgiveness, and then again, same thing repeat. So repeatedly they just ask for forgiveness and then again committing same sins. So this becomes that kind of sin that, thinking in the power of holy name I can commit sin and then I will be free from thinking like that. It becomes offense, or doing like that it becomes offense. And then eighth offense is dharma vrittatyaha udhati sarva swapakriya samyam. Consider the chanting holy name as one of the ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas, like some auspicious activity. So considering this is also become offense. Means in the Vedic literature is a very big portion of Karma Kanda section is there, and there are so many different yajnas, pujas are recommended for a different material benefit. So considering chanting holy name is also one of those kind of pious activity, or some the activity which gives some material benefit. Thinking like that becomes offense. Why? Because the holy name is completely pure. As the Supreme Lord, it can completely free from all the material bondage. Bhava Suddhi. Srila Prabhupada said the bhava means the material bondage. Living in this material realm. From here, we can get pure completely and, go back home, back to Godhead. So holy name is so powerful. You should not think it is just some another material activity. And then ninth offense is Ashraddha dhara vimukhe prashranvati yashopadesha shivanam aparadaha. To give, to explain to the people that the glories of the holy name, the faithless persons, glories of holy name is becomes offense. Then we may think, how will we preach unless we tell the glories of holy name? Then how people will take up the Krishna? This particular offense is specifically refers to the spiritual masters, because sometimes we see for getting more followers, to show to others that, to develop their ego. Sometimes we see some people, they to show, you see, I have 10,000 disciples, you say I have 50,000 disciples, just to show to others. They simply accept number of disciples more, not really whether they follow or not. they just accept. So those kind of accepting disciples become offense, because for faithless people also they are ready to give initiation. Sometimes we see some places people, they get diksha for chanting 4 rounds, 8 rounds also. So they don't really follow the standard which is established by Acharya. So in that way, it's become offense. So you should avoid this 9th offense. And 10th offense is Shrutepi nama mahatme pritiragito nraha aham amadi pramo namni sopapradakrit. After hearing so many instruction in these regards, so whatever we discussed so far, then still not having faith on the holy name and develop material attachment is becomes offense. So after hearing so many instruction about this power of holy name and offenses, and then all these things, so many instructions, after still if we don't have faith, or still we commit or still we develop the material attachment, desire for sense gratification, accumulating wealth, name, fame, for all these desires become offense. Because ultimately chanting holy name, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chaitadarpana Marjan, to purify our heart from all the material contamination, means material desires. But if we go on one side, develop material desires, one side, accumulating wealth, desiring for a position, desiring for any material things, and then on the same time go on chanting, it become offense. So we should understand the purpose of chanting holy name to purify ourselves and get rid of this material life. Srila Prabhupada says, if we seriously and sincerely chant holy name and follow the regulative principles, and in this life, and this, after giving up this body, we can go back home, back to Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada is so mercifully given this guarantee for. So we should understand that, the chanting holy name is not for any material purpose, gaining any material profit or anything, it's only purely for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. By pleasing Krishna and Guru, we will get purified from this material bondage and we can go back home, back to Godhead. So ultimately, there is one more offense, which is very important to avoid. This offense is called apipramadaha, means inattentive chanting. All these 10 offenses which we heard so far, these 10 offenses can be avoided by avoiding this one offense. If we chant attentively, Srila Prabhupada says, when we chant holy name, the upper lip, lower lip, the tongue, and all should be in action. It should move. And the sound should be heard in the ears. Clearly pronounce each name, and clearly we should hear the holy name. This is called attentive chanting. If we are not attentive, then naturally all these 10 offenses, chances are there to commit those offenses. By avoiding this one offense, we can really avoid all other offenses. So this is very important. So let us chant very attentively the holy name and avoid all the offenses. Then take this opportunity coming into the parampara, in the touch with the disciplic succession and take advantage of this auspicious uh, the process and then get benefited, let's, get out of this material world in this life. And that should be our aim. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकास स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So I've been asked to speak a little bit on the second initiation aspect. So we have already discussed about the first initiation. So this Brahminical initiation is those who are going to get second initiation now, which is also called as Brahminical initiation. For them, whatever I'm going to speak should not be new. Okay, you should already know this, but this talk is going to be like a reminder before you take the vow of second initiation. So this is part of the Pancharatrik Diksha process. So there are 5 elements, out of which Srila Prabhupada divided that into 2. One is first initiation and then the second initiation. So this was done historically it was proposed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and it was implemented by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati for implementing the principles of Daiva Varnashram, and this was done to mitigate or to negate the Sahajiya influence which was very prominent and prevalent at that time after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so which has been there for almost 200-300 years, and to revive the Krishna consciousness movement in its pristine form, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati wanted to again revive this Brahminical situation. And it's basically to establish the fact that devotees of the Lord, those who have taken up devotional service, the principles of devotional service very seriously and sincerely, they are qualified as Brahmanas, although they may not have been born in Brahmana families. So to recognize them and to also engage in the Pancharatra system of worship, so this Brahminical initiation was provided from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's time onwards. So devotional service, we know, is prosecuted in 2 different paths. One is this Pancharatrika Vidhi and then this Bhagavata Vidhi. So Bhagavata Vidhi includes the chanting of the holy names of the Lord and studying of Srimad Bhagavatam, engaging in pure devotional activities as such. And Pancharatrika Vidhi is where there are rules and regulations. Of course, that's also as part of executing pure devotional service, but then there are rules and regulations involved. So second initiation is part of this Pancharatrika Vidhi, and it establishes the situation of the devotee in as a varna. As a varna, it is established as a Brahmana. Srila Prabhupada, when he preached, we have heard Srila Prabhupada's lectures, his conversations also, that he wanted the ISKCON society to have a class of Brahmanas who will be the leaders of the society. So, so that's why Srila Prabhupada also said that for those who are Brahmanas or those who are aspiring to get second initiation, there are several qualifications that they should acquire. One of them is completing of this Bhakti Shastri. Okay, so Bhakti Shastri has these 4 books. So these 4 books are also very methodologically actually applied for this particular course. So we have Ishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion, right? So these are the 4 books which we study, and we write exams, we write essays like that. So Ishopanishad is part of Upanishads, so which is basically supposed to train, I'm speaking in a broad manner, which is basically supposed to train us in the Upanishadic concept, which is detachment from this material world. So all the when in all these four books, when Srila Prabhupada writes the purports, he brings us ultimately to the conclusion of pure devotional service. That's there, but the book itself is meant for specific purposes. So Ishopanishad is for basically detachment from this material world, right? So material desires should be curbed. Material desires should not be cultivated. And when one takes second initiation, then he has to actively endeavor for it, right? So Ishopanishad is for that. And Bhagavad Gita, we study these 18 chapters for understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness completely. Whatever is required to prosecute devotional service is there in Bhagavad Gita, right? Along with Srila Prabhupada's purports. And Srila Prabhupada said, if you read this one book, then it's enough for you to perfect your life and go back home, back to Godhead. Then the third book is Nectar of Instruction, so which basically trains us or gives us instructions on the behavioral and cultural aspects of prosecuting Krishna consciousness. If you see all the verses, the first verse itself is speaking about controlling the 6 urges, and then from then on, behavior with other devotees, how one's practice should be in Krishna consciousness, and so many other things. So the behavioral and cultural aspects are specifically explained in Nectar of Instruction, and the practical how one conducts himself, how one performs devotional service, how one prosecutes devotional service, that is explained in Nectar of Devotion. So these 4 books are not randomly selected in that way. When Srila Prabhupada gave these books basically cover the entire gamut of Krishna consciousness. So those who are taking second initiation, they are supposed to be very proficient in understanding all these 4 different concepts. One is detachment from material desires, that's very, very important. And then perfect understanding of Krishna conscious philosophy. Behaviorally and culturally, we should know how Krishna consciousness should be performed, and then how the practices are in devotional service. That's the Nectar of Devotion. So these are there, and the understanding also is that Srila Prabhupada actually mentions this in several of his lectures, that first initiation is given to devotees who are interested in Krishna consciousness, who are serious in Krishna consciousness, who want to perform devotional service, and who have understood that we are not this body, we are the soul, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, and this is our eternal relationship with Him. So they can be given first initiation. And second initiation is for those who have advanced themselves in chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and have situated themselves in mode of goodness. Right? So Brahminical platform is in the mode of goodness, which means that the effect of passion and ignorance should be almost zero. Okay. The material situation is such that we will not find the modes in its pure state. We will not find mode of goodness without any passion and ignorance. But Brahminical platform is a special case. Brahminical platform means the urges of passion and ignorance should be curbed by our intelligence, should be curbed by the knowledge, transcendental knowledge which we have gained by studying the books. Right? So Srila Prabhupada mentions this, that one who is situated in a mode of goodness, he can be given second initiation as a mark of his advancement in Krishna consciousness. So this is required. In Shastra, in Bhagavad Gita and also in Srimad Bhagavatam, the qualities of one who is a Brahmana is mentioned. So normally we know when we studied Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter, the 42nd verse, this verse comes, Shamo Dapa Tapa Shocham Kshantir Arjavamevacha Jnanam Vijnanam Astinkyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. So these are the 9 qualities of Brahmanas by which a Brahmana conducts his day-to-day activities. There is another verse also which comes in 7th canto. So this comes when Narad Muni has already recited the narration of Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsimhadev, and Maharaj Yudhishthira wants to understand how one can attain that kind of perfection by performing his Varna and Ashrama duties. So in the 7th canto, 11th chapter, in the 21st verse, Narad Muni explains. Now here he gives 11 qualities of Brahmanas. So he says, Shamo Damas Tapa Shocham Santosha Kshantir Arjavam. It's quite very similar to what we heard in Bhagavad Gita. Jnanam Daya Chitratmatvam Satyam Cha Brahma Lakshanam. So the translation goes, the symptoms of a Brahmana are control of the mind, control of the senses, austerity and penance, cleanliness, satisfaction, forgiveness, simplicity, knowledge, mercy, truthfulness, and complete surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right, so there are several aspects We may not have time to discuss all of these, but the recommendation is that you please go back and then probably search in Veda base and try to find out what are the different qualities and what are the different hindrance factors of all these different aspects of Brahmanical qualification. We'll try to discuss some of these here. So first one is Shama and Damaha, which is control of the senses and control of the mind. Right? So control of the senses, we can force ourselves by our intelligence, but controlling the mind is always very difficult. Krishna also, Arjuna expresses his incapability in controlling the senses in Bhagavad Gita. Right? He can control the wind, but he says he cannot control the mind. So this is possible. The controlling of mind happens when one situates himself in mode of goodness. So this aspect will come again and again, that those who are in Brahmanical platform must endeavor themselves to situate in mode of goodness. So their activities and their consciousness should be in mode of goodness, cannot be in passion or in ignorance. So one cannot cultivate material desires. There are so many things which we may get attracted to because of our previous samskaras within this life and from past many lives. But once we take this vow of second initiation, then we have to curb those desires. This is the same for those who are getting first initiation also, but then it becomes a regulatory practice. It becomes mandatory for the Brahmanas. It's more stressed. The aspect is more stressed in that manner. So control of the senses should be done, and control of the mind should also be done. And Krishna also explains that if one tries to externally control the senses, but then his mind engages in sense gratification, then he is a mithyachari only. So even we should not fall into that platform as well. No? Karma indriyani sanyamya yaste manasasmaran indriyartham vimudhatma mithyachara sauchyase. So those who are engaged or those who are thinking of sense gratification, but then somehow trying to forcefully control themselves, that's not actually the Brahmanical platform. Because the mind is so strong, and when we are forcefully trying to control our senses, although the mind is engaging in subtle sense gratification, they'll end up doing it. So that's what happens. So therefore, control of mind and senses actually is important for Brahmanas, especially the control of mind, which can be attained only in the platform of goodness. So it's like, although we speak of it in a very normal and generic way, that we have to come to the mode of goodness, but it requires a complete change of our day-to-day activities, of the way we conduct ourselves, the way our speech is, and the way we think of our situation with respect to others. There are several things about this. The next is tapaha. So Srila Prabhupada mentions, Shastra explains that there are 6 types of agitations or 6 types of pangs by which one is influenced. There is hunger, there is thirst, there is fear, there is lamentation, old age, and death. Right? So a normal condition living entity is always affected by these 6 pangs. But one in a Brahmanical platform, he has to control or he has to overcome these pangs. Hunger and thirst, a Brahmana should be able to control it. Right? Guru Maharaj also explains in several of his lectures that traditional Brahmanas, for them, if they have their own set of worship, they have to perform deity worship and all, and they will not even drink water. And by the time, of course, they'll get up early in the morning, 3:34, and then from then on their ritual starts, their regulations, their deity worship starts. And by the time they take prasadam, it will be almost 11 or 12. So which means by that, till that time, they have not even drank water and they have not eaten anything also. So that is tapasya that a Brahmana is doing. So Brahmanas naturally have this tendency to perform austerity. So hunger and thirst should not affect them. Of course, those who have aged and those who have medical issues, that's a different thing. But those for whom it is possible, those who are youngsters, they must have control over hunger and thirst. Then fear and lamentation, Brahmana should not be fearful. So also all these qualities that we are discussing are also applicable to devotees in general. But as I said, for Brahmanas, it is more important that they actively cultivate these qualities. So fear, they should not be fearful of any situation in their life. It's not only the danger situation that happen in life, but also from social perspective, there can be dearth of so many material facilities, or there can be issues because of wives, because of husbands, or because of material conditions within one's family and children also. So one should not be lamenting because of these situations, and one should not be fearful of what will happen in future. If these things continue like this, what my situation will be in future, because a devotee is a brahmana, of course, and a devotee also is supposed to be always dependent on the Supreme Lord. That also will come. This verse itself is discussed. So austerity is required, and one should not be afraid of old age and death. So that comes as part of practicing devotional service. And normally when Srila Prabhupada translates tapasya, he says austerity and penances. So there's a subtle difference between them. So austerity is to be regulated at all times. So it's like we cannot drop our guard at any moment. So these qualities that we are discussing now, one should always be situated in these qualities. One cannot drop his guard, and as he drops his guard, then he becomes influenced by this passion and ignorance. But the Brahminical platform itself is to be situated in mode of goodness platform all the time. And of course, from there to transcend to Shuddha Sattva. And penance, Srila Prabhupada actually explains that in Krishna book, it comes in 88th chapter. He says that the topmost yoga or topmost tapasya is actually to always be in Krishna consciousness, and he defines that saying that the topmost yoga is to always think of Krishna, and the topmost sacrifice is to engage in Sankirtan Yajna. Right? So this is also a quality of Brahmana, that is always thinking of the Supreme Lord. He is always conscious of Krishna. And this helps in conducting our day-to-day activities also. Like for example, cleanliness. Now cleanliness is there, and there's also this concept of purity. So if you're always aware of Krishna consciousness, of the Supreme Lord, of Krishna, then automatically there is inclination to be always clean, right? So cleanliness is required. Those of you who are getting second initiation is primarily for either deity worship or for cooking in the kitchen. So both of them require cleanliness and purity. And Srila Prabhupada especially stressed that the kitchen is actually an extension of the deity room. So the kitchen cannot be unclean. It is not done. It is not possible. And because the kitchen is being used in rendering service to the deities, therefore both of them should be maintained in perfect cleanliness. And when we are aware that we are doing it for Krishna, we are always thoughtful of him, then we also become conscious that there are some things that we are supposed to do and some things which we cannot do. For example, if we have seen several devotees also doing this, like if there's a glass of water, then they take it, they sip it, it's touching the lips, and they keep down again, and then from that same hand they'll touch Shrimad Bhagavatam, or they'll touch the paraphernalia also. This is not done. This is not culture. No, this is not proper, because there the principle of cleanliness is completely destroyed, actually speaking. So in the same cleanliness also there are two things. There is purity and there is cleanliness. So purity is primarily with respect to the internal consciousness that we cultivate, that we should always be pure, we should not be cultivating material desires. We should always be aware of our position as servant of our spiritual master, engaged by his mercy in devotional service of the Lord. So that is purity of mind. And when that purity is there and we are always conscious of it. So when we speak about Krishna conscious, then we should always be conscious of these principles when we are performing services in the deity, in the altar room or in kitchen. Okay, so we cannot negate. So there cannot be any prajalpa. There cannot be any discussions about other devotees and other mundane matters. All these things cannot be spoken in kitchen area at all. It's not only within the place where it's being cooked, it's also for outside. If you are doing vegetable cutting and other things which are actually part of cooking, but then it's not, you're not actually into the kitchen room. There also this kind of talks cannot be done. That's a Brahminical platform. That's the cultural platform. It's expected from all devotees, but as I said, in Brahminical platform, this kind of purity is mandatory, because Brahminical initiation itself is given as a sign of one's advancement in these principles. So these things cannot be neglected. So one should always be thoughtful of his speech. Just like for sannyasis, it is said, they have this tridanda, by which by body, mind and words, they serve the Lord. So similarly, the same principle is applicable to Brahmanas also. So by their body, through their mind and through their senses, they should always be pure. They should always be clean and should always be engaged in prosecuting Krishna consciousness in that consciousness this way. Then next point is satisfaction. So those Brahmanas is Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, right? We have heard this verse many times. So one who knows Brahman, he is a Brahmana. And there is this verse also comes in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nashochati Nakangshati Sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. So one who is on the Brahma Bhuta platform, he is Prasannatma, he is satisfied. He does not have any hankering. There is no hankering, there is no lamentation. Na shochati, na kankshati. So one should not hanker for anything. One should not hanker. One should be satisfied with one's service. So mode of goodness is defined as being satisfied with whatever he has got and whatever service he has. So that should not be the case that we have been assigned a particular service, a Brahminical service, either in the altar room or in the kitchen or say in preaching services like this, and one does not want to do it. That is not Brahminical platform. That shows agitation of mind. It's very subtle. Okay, it's very subtle. No, we might express our dissatisfaction also, but Brahmanas are always satisfied. So we are talking about the highest level of satisfaction of the Brahmanas. He should not be agitated. Whatever service is given to him, because his thought is always about Krishna, he's always engaged in Sankirtan Yajna, he's always peaceful in mind, he should not be agitated in obtaining any service and whatever is asked from him to be done. So one should not be agitated, one should always be satisfied in that manner. And of course, speech also should be utilized in that manner. One should not be harsh, because those who are in mode of passion and moral ignorance, their language is different. Their speech, their tone, intonation, the tone in which they speak, the tone in which they address their seniors, the tone in which they speak to the juniors, it's all different. But the Brahmanas are supposed to be very peaceful. Even in the speech, it should be very clear that they are not agitated because of the mode of passion and ignorance. So therefore, it's a very high qualification which is actually expected from Brahmanas, because these are the things which Brahmanas work with. And in Mahabharata also, there are several places in Shanti Parva it comes where Bhishma Dev speaks about the glories of Brahmanas. Krishna himself speaks about the glories of Brahmanas. And he himself says, he's satisfied when the Brahmanas and cows are satisfied. Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmanitaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo. He is worshipped through the Brahmanas and cows. So the qualities that Krishna himself possesses, we are expected to endeavor to cultivate those qualities. Right? Then next is forgiveness and honesty. So forgiveness is part of forgiveness is actually explained twice in this verse. So there is Shantir, and then there is also Daya. There is being merciful to others. So Srila Prabhupada explains that the devotee can be merciful to others by giving others Krishna consciousness. So we should not discriminate in that manner. And honesty is speaking the truth always. So, and one more thing, of course, Satyam, that's the first thing that comes. Shama Dama Tapa Shocham, Shanti Arjuna Vidya, Jnanam Vijnanam Astikam, Brahma Karma Svabhajam. This is what comes in the 18th chapter. But here, in this verse, it is mentioned that Satyam Cha Brahma Lakshanam. In the last line it comes. So one should be honest. One cannot tell lies. So normally as devotees, we do not have the inclination to speak lies. But sometimes what we do is to escape from difficult situations. We try to tell something which is like not a very blatant lie, but then it's a lie nevertheless, just to escape from situations, from difficult situations. We say, no, okay, you are supposed to do this, but then you do not do because this happened, and that's the reason that you have given. No, it's a harmless lie. But a Brahmana, because he is situated in a platform where he is the guidance for the entire society, and he is not afraid. He is free from this pang of fear. If he has not done something, or if there's something which has been missed from him, he accepts it. He does not create reasons. He does not tell reasons that because of this and this happened. When I'm saying reasons, of course, some reasons which are valid can of course be offered, but reasons just for the sake of escaping from difficult situations is part of a lie. Okay, it's a harmless lie, but then of course it's a lie. So therefore that kind of harmless lie also should not be spoken. So this comes in the austerity of speech. So we said, right, body, mind and speech. So body, mind and words. So austerity of words, austerity of speech means one should not tell a lie. You want to escape from difficult situations. Correct. Then there is knowledge, jnanam. So this is, we know about this. We have, this Srila Prabhupada has discussed it several times. In Bhagavad Gita, it comes jnanam, vijnanam, and then comes astikyam. So jnanam is transcendental knowledge. So when we do Bhakti Shastri, when we study Srila Prabhupada's book, we attain transcendental knowledge, we gain transcendental knowledge, but the practical application of it in one's life becomes vijnanam, or realized knowledge. So realization is a concept which we may have difficulty in understanding, but how Srila Prabhupada explained it is that once we have knowledge of what is to be done and what is not to be done, then application of knowledge itself in our day-to-day life regularly and in a regulated manner, that itself is realized knowledge. That is realization. So those principles which we have studied, it all ultimately boils down to how Krishna conscious we are, how we are focused in devotion service. So all the principles that we have studied, we should be actively endeavoring to implement it, actively endeavoring to imbibe it in our life. So that is required. That is realized knowledge. That is Vijnanam. Correct. And austerity of speech also includes speaking only from what is given by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Right? This is an important principle. We know about this also. We have discussed this several times. We have heard it from Srila Prabhupada, from Guru Maharaj also. That a Brahmana cannot speak anything which is beyond Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So he should have that acumen to understand what is proper philosophy. He should be able to discriminate if there is a deviation in any philosophical concept. He should be able to discriminate between what is right, what is wrong. So he should have a proper understanding of dharma also. And he should be able to maintain proper consciousness with respect to devotion service and with respect to kitchen. So right, so these are the two principles which we discussed. So one should speak, one should follow the instructions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And this is applicable even for pujaris and those who are cooks, because normally Brahmanical initiation is given for those who are very learned, who can engage in preaching to specialized audiences and who can engage in going out for book distribution and things like that. So one is one who is learned, who is a panditaha, and the other is deity worship and kitchen, as we are speaking of those who are cooks and those who are pujaris. But it does not mean that pujaris and cooks do not have the obligation to understand the proper siddhanta. Because they have taken Brahmanical initiation, it becomes imperative for them also to understand proper siddhanta and implement it accordingly. Because one cannot be a pujari if he does not have perfect understanding of Krishna conscious philosophy. Because if the philosophy is not perfect, if the understanding is not perfect of Krishna conscious philosophy, of different aspects of devotion service, of the position of the Lord, the position of the devotee, the position of the different deities in the Vedic lore, and of the spiritual master, then within the mind, while performing deity worship, he will end up committing offenses. So for pujaris as well as for the cooks also, it is completely mandatory for them to study Srila Prabhupada's books and to understand the philosophy deeply. Okay, so it's not that a person is unaware of Krishna conscious philosophy, so he is very regulated in service, so therefore give him second initiation and he'll become a pujari. But then that is not how it works, because there can be offenses done through the mind also. So the pujari also must understand the Krishna conscious philosophy perfectly. Right? And finally, Achyuta Atmatvam or Astikyam, surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is, anyway, we have discussed it, this is understood, so it must be there. And surrender is there when there is nothing else which is there within our mind. We cannot surrender to two things. We cannot surrender to our material desires. We cannot surrender to other aspects of our life and then have surrender to Krishna also. Surrender means it's abhyabhicharini, mamcha abhyabhicharana bhakti yogena sevate. It should be focused. It should be vyavasayatmika buddhi. It should be one-minded. So that is proper surrender. Otherwise, surrender does not have a meaning. Correct? So surrender should be done by neglecting everything else, which actually is an hindrance to pure devotion service. And the last point which I wanted to mention, and which Srila Prabhupada actually writes in purport of 7th canto, 11th chapter, 14th verse, I suggest you please go back and read it. There he says that, I'll just read the purport, it will take just 2 minutes. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains the position of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas as follows. Brahmanas have 6 occupational duties, of which 3 are compulsory, namely studying the Vedas, worshipping the deity, and giving charity. By teaching, by inducing others to worship the deity, and by accepting gifts, the Brahmanas receive the necessities of life. And this is also confirmed in Manu Samhita. And then Prabhupada explains, of the 6 occupational duties of Brahmanas, 3 are compulsory, namely worship of the deity, study of the Vedas, and giving of charity in exchange. In exchange, a Brahmana should receive charity, and this should be the means of his livelihood. a Brahmana cannot take up any professional occupational duty for his livelihood. The Shastras especially stress that if one claims to be a Brahmana, he cannot engage in the service of anyone else. Otherwise, he at once falls from his position and becomes a Shudra. Right? So, those who are getting Brahmanical initiation cannot technically go out and work. Right? It's Srila Prabhupada explains that as Shvavriti, it's there in the Shastra, it's an occupation of a dog. So, for brahmacharis, of course, no, they will not be working. For grihasthas, the endeavor should be there. It's a very high principle, of course, we understand in the modern context, but it's a principle that one should actively cultivate, because this is what proper understanding of Brahmanical platform is. He cannot go out and work for some corporate or for some company. So his occupation should be limited to this 6 Brahmanical occupation. He cannot go out and work, or else he falls down from Shudra position. And we tend to justify that, okay, although we have got Brahmanical initiation, but then because devotional service covers up everything, so therefore it is fine. But then that can be done with the first initiation itself, right? Second initiation itself is a qualification given only for performing specified duties in Krishna consciousness. Right? So therefore one should not neglect this particular principle. One should not go out and work for others. So this is a very important concept that we should understand. So yes, so these are some of the principles that we should be aware of. And as I said, those who are getting second initiation, this should not be new to you, what we have discussed. And just hope and we pray to the Lord that you are able to maintain the Brahmanical standards and expand and be a part of Srila Prabhupada's mission. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.